Hello Internet, my name is Broadmoor, and today I really wanted to draw Yunobo from Breath of the Wild, and I figured since Tears of the Kingdom's got Death Mountain all covered in malice, what if I made a kind of a boss concept of a malice-covered Yunobo? Yunobo and a lot of Gorons are very round in their design, so I really wanted to make sure that the head was well-rounded, as well as making sure that the body was a bit more oval. And since they have very short, stubby legs, I gave them those, but these also massive arms. So I really wanted to emphasize those as much as I could. Something really nice about the Goron design is that their arms are separated by these metal bands, which makes it really easy to tell the length and the scale of all the different parts of their arm. I really wanted Yunobo to be holding the boulder breaker for two reasons. Reason number one, I'm lazy. It hides a good amount of detail so that I have to do a little bit less work. However, the boulder breaker is super detailed, so I might have actually given myself more work instead. The other thing though, I think is really cool is that we already know a Goron's going to be wielding it, so I figured it's probably Yunobo, and why not give it to him? Once I got the outline for the boulder breaker completed, I started right ahead onto Yunobo's other arm. Following that up, I went ahead and gave Yunobo his signature haircut, as well as giving him some of that Goron-defining muscle. At this point, I realized I really did give myself quite a bit more work to do, but I decided to go ahead with it anyway because I really like the design for the boulder breaker and it's absolutely worth it. All the little swirly bits of the boulder breaker were really hard for me to get right, and I think I eventually got somewhere, but it definitely took a lot of erasing. Anyways, I eventually realized I didn't like how the chest was looking, so I made sure to fix that, as well as give him some proper details for his feet, as well as his nice eyebrows. So coming up is where I really decided that I'm going to make this a malice Yunobo instead of just a regular Yunobo. So I'm actually really happy with how it ended up turning out. I think the final design looked really cool, and while I'm making the malice form, I'll describe how the boss fight I envision is going to go. So I'm thinking that for the first phase he's probably going to have 2 or 3 attack patterns. The first one, he's going to use the boulder breaker, break up some rock, maybe drop some from the ceiling, just try and get right on top of you and crush you that way. Probably get up close and personal, trying to swing at you with the boulder breaker. I'm thinking for a final thing, he'll also roll at you like we see the enemy do in the Tears of the Kingdom gameplay trailer and explode on the walls. For the next phase, I was thinking that he'd start using Daruk's protection, or at least have some form of malice equivalent of Daruk's protection. And instead of you just being able to wail on him, you have to be very cautious with your movements. You can't go up close anymore and try and swing at him. Instead, he's going to have a new attack in which he chucks a rock at you of some kind, maybe using the boulder breaker, and have that thrown at you that way, and you need to return it to sender using recall. After you return that rock in his face, he'll be stunned for a little bit, and as such you can go in with your melee weapons and beat him up a bit more, trying to free him from all the malice that's corrupting him. Also thinking that since we've seen some new items, you could use things like puff shrooms or the dazzle fruit to blind him, just make it so that he doesn't hit you as much. I also think you'll have elemental weakness to ice, as he is a fire Goron, which I think would make a lot of sense. Anyway, that is my basic thought of how the fight would go, but who knows, Yunobo probably won't even be a boss. He might just be someone you have to help out again. Hopefully he'll have found his courage. We see a Goron wielding the Boulder Breaker, so it's presumably Yunobo. So I look forward to being able to fight alongside him, but we'll see what Nintendo has decided to do with our boy. So as you can see, I took a lot of inspiration from Nadro with how they were corrupted, in which they're just covered in a bunch of malice eyes everywhere. I thought it would be really cool to have that. I'm really happy with both my placement of them and just all the malice spreading everywhere. But after I got all that done, I moved on to a lot of the shading and a lot of the darkening up of everything and getting ready to make sure everything is shadowed. However, right here, I realized I forgot something important. His little Goron necklace thing. So I decided that instead of it being held on by the champion's garb that he wears, why not have it be held on by Malice and have a Malice light coming off of that? Just to really show the Malice taking over of the Goron that we once knew. From here, I just started touching up everything, finishing up all the small details, getting all the shadows correct, making sure that everything stands out well. You can really tell where the Malice is, where the shadows are, where the Goron's at, underneath it all. So overall, I really am quite proud of this one, and I hope you enjoy it too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again in the future, but for now, please go out, get creative, and please be gone.